Welcome to the Two Tone Podcast, episode 17. If you are not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's a little free way to show us that you appreciate what we're doing. But, episode 17. Kyle Bastin. It's Kyle Bastin. What's going on, dude? What's going on? Welcome to the Two Tone Podcast, Kyle. How you doing?
I need to walk out. I need the walkout music going on.
Welcome to the Two Tone Podcast, Kyle Bastin, very special guest. How you doing, kid?
I'm good, man. I just walked in the door like Kramer from Seinfeld.
Hell yeah,
pretty fun.
What you been up to? How you doing?
Dude, I don't even know where to start. Honestly, lots of shit. You know, I'm in town for like a month and a half.
Hell yeah.
Because I work from home at the moment because all the strikes and all that shit going on in LA that I need like a... Yo, someone really call me right now? Get out of here. Declined.
Damn, savage.
I don't even know who the hell that was. So if that was you, sorry guys. See, I'm a busy man declining calls and shit. That was totally a scam call.
That's wild as fuck.
Anyways, no, I've been working from home, running some YouTube channels, which is like honestly kind of too easy at sometimes.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's like no productions at all going on in LA, so I haven't worked on many sets in the last few months. But yeah, it's been cool out there though. Lots of shit to do.
I'm about to say, it seems like so much fun. I always see like you post on Snapchat and Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
It just looks like so much shit out there to do. You really couldn't be bored if you tried.
I don't get bored. I mean, sometimes I wish I could be bored, to be honest. Like, I kind of miss that feeling of being back here. It's like another reason why I'm here for a good chunk of time is like whenever I've come back from LA, it's been like for a week or two.
Right.
And it's just like I got to do all the spots and see all the people in like 2 weeks. It's like, all right, I got to hit up Yats. I got to hit up Roscoe's Tacos, Culver's. They don't got Culver's out there. Waffle House.
Damn.
So like there's, like the local spots that I want to eat at. and then all the friends I got to see and all that. But like the fact that I'm here longer, it's kind of nice to just chill for a second. And then
just kind of put your feet in the grass.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure, because it's just like, I don't know. It can be a lot sometimes out there on your own. And I mean, I got roommates, of course. Shout out. Robbie and Waldo, shout out.
Shouts out.
But no, but it's great. But I think it's just the fact that like I worked at Sony for a long time, like a year and a half, which that's a whole fucking tangent. But anyways, I worked there, and then I was unemployed for like 3 months looking for work, and then I went right into a work from home job, and that transition from like unemployment to work from home is like the exact same. You're just even more stuck in your house now.
Right, you're just like contractually obligated to be at your house,
like
at your computer.
House arrest, man. It's weird as hell.
I'm about to say,
dude, the hours I work is like 1:30 to 10.
That's really odd, especially from a at-home job.
It's really strange because they gotta have people on all the time, and that's the shifts they needed. So,
right.
But I mean, like, I don't dislike it, but when it takes out like your social life completely in the nights and the evenings.
Right, I'm gonna say about 10 o'clock, everybody's kind of winding down for the night. Can't really just go out and party at 10.
No, definitely not. Especially as we become more adults, no one wants to be out that late.
Oh yeah, I'm if I'm not asleep by 9:30, it's gonna be a rough day tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm still a night owl though, so I kind of like the schedule. It's only on Fridays that pisses me off. Or like if there's like a cool ass screening on like, Wednesday night at 7:30, I'm like, who the hell's going to this shit?
Right.
You guys aren't busy? No, I would be going if I had a normal job. And I did like because at Sony I worked 9 to 5, and I would go to all kinds of crazy shit on the weeknights. But
that's the shift that I love is 9 to 5, man.
Just be a normal ass person.
Right. Yeah. I love waking up in the early morning, just like take a cold shower in the early morning, go to work, come home.
Dude, I woke up at 7 a.m. today. Not by choice. I'm staying at my parents' house while I'm here.
Right.
And they're getting a new roof put in right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, I mean, they told me last night, and I was like, I've been going to the gym with my dad. Going to the gym with Jim. And so we went this morning because I was up so early. But last night he was like, "Oh, do you want to go to the gym?" And I've been waking up at like 10:30 because I work at 4:30 here because it's the 3-hour time difference.
Right.
So I'm waking up at like 10:30 and going to the gym then. And I was like, I don't know, I'm doing the podcast tomorrow. Like, I don't know if I want to wake up that early to go. He's like, I mean, you may be woken up by the roof. Like, I don't, who knows, bro. There's a lot of shit I've heard in my entire life. And for the first like 20 seconds of it, I didn't know what the hell it was, of course.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? And then I just hear like them ripping off the shingles. And I'm like, oh my God, it's right above me because I'm on the second floor.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I like don't sleep in the basement anymore because it's so like moldy and shit. I'm like, I don't want to sleep down there.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, no, you've.
I've experienced it many a time. I don't blame you at all. Not
you
in
wake
the
up and you're
slightest.
just like, what the fuck, dude? So anyways, I woke up early today, for once, but usually I'm a night owl. But yeah. But what have you guys been up to anyways? I've been listening to your podcast every week.
Oh, hell yeah, I appreciate it so much, honestly. Not been up to much, really. I'm just working and,
Yeah.
always making music or something, but I don't have anything lined up, honestly, at the moment, but...
Yeah. I think that's what's so cool about doing podcasts, though, is, like, it's a very easy creative outlet.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And, like, when we're done recording, we're done. You
Yeah.
know, and it's just, like, you get what you get. You know, it's cool. But no, I love listening to it, especially now because I work from home, and it's just, like, it's cool to listen to you guys. And then also just how much you just shout me out all the time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It's always, like, you know, when you can't name some shit about a movie, cracks me up. Like, he'll be pissed. And I'm like, I'm not pissed. I'm just like, I think it's goofy, honestly.
I'm absolutely terrible with names and shit. Names of movies, names of actors, names of anything,
Yeah.
honestly. I'm terrible with remembering
Yeah.
people's names.
No, me too. I think anything outside of film, I couldn't tell you shit. Like, some of my family were talking about, like, football and, oh, where did the Raiders quarterback get traded to? And I was like, yo, I don't fucking know.
Not the slightest clue.
I looked it up and I was like, oh, the Saints. And they're like, oh, cool, thanks. I'm glad you knew. And I was like, wow, they don't even know how to work a phone. It's crazy.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, man, it cracks me up.
That's fried as fuck.
Like, I don't follow sports, like, damn near at all now.
I'm about to say, I really haven't paid much attention to the NFL, of late.
Like, I'll watch the Colts, don't get me wrong. I'm, like, definitely a Colts fan, but it's, like, compared to how I used to be, like, super invested in it.
Oh, yeah, I'm like the Peyton Manning fucking...
Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning.
Oh, yeah.
Like, both of those eras were awesome. And now I'm just like, oh, whatever. But also sports in LA, besides, like, the Dodgers and Lakers, I should say just football specifically, like, no one cares.
I'm about to say, it definitely doesn't seem like a big football kind of town.
Dude, like, the Rams were in the Super Bowl one year, and I kid you not, like, the week before, everyone's like, wait, we have a football team?
That's hilarious.
It's wild. Like, imagine if the Chargers were in it. They really wouldn't know. 'Cause now they're
Did the Rams move out there pretty recently?
Yeah, I think because they were in St. Louis for a while, remember? I don't know what year it was, but it was within the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of get it if they didn't know, but it's just funny.
Right.
That's how little they care. Because the thing is like, here, what else do we got to do? You know?
I'm about to say, if you ain't watching football on Sunday, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. Like, you either watch sports or you're like, oh my God, they built a new restaurant in Greenwood, time to line up. And then it's busy for like a year.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we got to do in this town.
Not much, honestly. What did you say, T?
Twin Peaks.
Oh, yeah, we just got that Twin Peaks built.
Dude, have you guys been to it yet?
I have not.
I haven't either.
I'm about to say, I don't think I'll end up going.
I don't know either. It's kind of, I feel weird going in there.
Oh, yeah. It's like Hooters, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, is the food really that good to justify what I'm watching?
I don't know. It was pretty funny, though, because apparently my dad heard their wings were really good.
Right.
Which I'm like, okay, well, who are you hearing it from? You know?
Right.
But they had some friends over, and my dad ordered these wings, but then he was also cooking up some other shit. So he said to my mom, like, hey, can you go pick up the wings? And she's like, wait, at Twin Peaks? And he's like, yeah, you know, it's right down the road. So my mom had to go pick this shit up. And she's just
That's
like, yo, what
hilarious.
the fuck? what is going on
She
here?
said, "You can get your own wings next time."
Yeah. Oh man, but it's hilarious.
That's fucking Friday shit. Oh, we haven't done this song yet. Oh, alongside me as always,
Theo.
Theo.
Damn, I really just stole your thunder, man.
Oh,
I'm
it's
sorry.
all good. It's all good. But all right, let's get on into it, yo. Welcome back to the Two Tone Podcast. If you missed through all the chaoticness of the intro, our guest today, the one and only. Sorry, y'all, I don't know how to work my hotkeys. I just put the song back on. The one and only Kyle Bastin. How's it going?
Oh, good. You know.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
You heard in the last 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. One day this podcast
Dude, that kind of
the production will work.
Kind of adds to it, honestly.
You
I
know,
love it.
One day I'll figure out my hotkeys. But anyways, I'm gonna do my ad reads and shit real quick.
Ad reads? So, you got ads now?
No, I ain't got ads. Like my own shit, you know.
Oh yeah.
All right, so if you are new to the podcast, I make music. Theo makes films, and Kyle also makes films, coincidentally. And I just dropped an EP a few weeks ago called Unfuckswittable on all streaming platforms. Go check it out. Linktree.com/JAK Productions. Take you to all my social medias and music on Spotify and Apple Music. And TT over there. You want me to do it for you? What you want?
Sure. Man, okay.
No, you do it for once. I'm about to say you ain't talked this whole time. Man. You said Twin Peaks. That's all you said this whole time. We've been going for 12 minutes.
That was
now.
A good bit, though.
All right. I'm Theo, and I make films. You can find my films at Glasshouse Films 8 on YouTube. And if you ever want to be in a film anyway, helping me, it's Glasshouse Films 8 on Instagram. You can message me there, and we could talk about it.
Hell yeah.
I just saw his gear he has. He can definitely make some shit. So.
Oh yeah, I've been trying to tell this dude for so long. He's got so much shit. Just go out and just make something, dog.
Yeah, man. Dude, one of my favorite bits. We're just gonna go off on a tangent already. One of my favorite bits from that last episode was the conversation you guys were having about like quality versus quantity. Mm-hmm. And you were like, "Nah, Kyle disagrees." And I was like, "No, man. I have to like clear my name. I definitely don't. I think quality is much more important than quantity." Definitely. But the thing is that like, you gotta have something though.
Yeah. Right. That's what I was kind of talking about. You gotta toe the line between making something good and not taking 6 years to make it. You know. Yeah,
because I mean the thing is like, you got all the gear and everything, and you're ready to shoot some shit, but it's also like, it's gonna require some practice still. It requires a lot of practice.
Right.
That's any art form, I think. You know, and it's like, I mean, bro, you saw the shit I was making back in the day.
Oh yeah, like if garbage. You ain't seen it, Fred Rico. If you ain't seen Fred Rico, go check it out.
You were in a lot of this stuff though. Like you were. You were in Visions, Alone.
Hell yeah. A lot of the early work.
A lot of the first films you were there for. Dude, also the last week when you ended it with saying "Go green and eat your veggies."
Yeah, I knew somebody would have got the reference.
Dude, the Eco Killer literally made that in 7th grade. Wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, the point is, Theo, is like I feel like I have just started to get kind of confident in my skills as a filmmaker. So like just dive in and start making stuff. And you're doing it. Don't get me wrong, you're doing it. But like, yeah, man, don't be scared. Just jump in. And then, like I was telling you the other day, you asked me like, do you think I'm a good storyteller? And I was like, yo, dude, like, do you like your story?
That's like, what I've been trying to like. You just got to make it for the love of making it. You gotta you gotta want to put your perspective on it. Like somebody is inevitably gonna hate what you do, and somebody inevitably is gonna love what you do.
It always happens, man. Like there's films I've made that like I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, I feel that with my own music sometimes
and
too.
then people are like, "This is my favorite one," and I'm like, "Really?
Right.
Like you like that one? I mean, cool. I'm glad you do. I'm glad someone did it. But it always feels good when someone kind of like reaffirms, like, "Oh, okay. I'm glad that I at least brought entertainment or made someone feel seen through something." But yeah, man, the creative process is like wild, and yeah, when you make it for yourself, that's when you're gonna get better. Because I'm like the most nitpicky person about my own work.
Oh, me too.
Like you have to be your own worst critic. Like if you see some shit in your movie and you're like, damn, I can't stand that. Like that's actually a good thing because it's showing that you're growing as an artist and like you want to improve, you want to keep making better things. Because yeah, I'm telling you right now, there's not a single movie I have that there's like not a few things that I'm like I would have done that differently now. Like if I could go back and change it, I want to do something else different.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like I'm releasing a short on Friday, and I think it's my favorite one. I really like it.
I
but
like it a
there's
lot
still a
too.
few things that I'm like,
You're like, oh.
There's always a few things, and it's never something that like someone else did. It's always things that I just kind of like let slide.
Right.
Where I was just like, no, that's good.
It looks all right.
Yeah,
It'll
and
be
I'm just
okay.
like, does it though? Yeah. But I mean, Tinted Love, like I actually really fucking love it. I love, but I'm a fan of it, and yeah, because it's got your song in it, and then Luke did the score for it. Luke just like came out of fucking nowhere, man.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You were telling me that he was doing the music for it, and I was like, when the fuck did Luke do music? What?
Dude, he's really good. I can't lie. And what's really cool is that he knows my style so well, and he knows I can just like basically. And I'm the same way with you when you've done music, when I've done music with you, but like I can communicate so easily with both of you guys because we've just worked together for so long.
Right.
And Luke, we haven't like worked together creatively, but you know, he's my brother.
I'm about to say y'all just live together and y'all know each other.
Yeah, and he's seen all my shit, and he's been on set for my stuff, and it's like, it's really cool to have him in a creative position. I mean, it's like fulfilling that like you guys do this together. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, we like actually have something to work on together, and it's fun as hell. But yeah, Luke doing the score for Tinted Love, it's like my favorite thing. Like I saw that, and we watched it in theaters because it went to a few festivals, but the first time I saw it in theaters, it was we did like a cast and crew screening, and I had a producer for this. Shout out Joe Angelis. Sounds like a made up name. That's his actual name, but he's awesome. I love this man. He's the best dude ever. The best producer too. Because like there was a few times where I was the one where I'm like, no, we can get away with doing this, and he goes, no, I'm not gonna cut corners, Kyle. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, all right, damn.
Call me out, fuck.
He'll put the money into it, you know, and it's so like for the cast and crew screening, this is like the biggest example of this because it's a 7-minute short film, and he's like, no, we're gonna rent out a theater, and we're gonna invite everyone that donated to the film and all this.
That's gotta be wild as fuck just to see your short movie on like the theater screen. Just,
yeah, dude,
it's gotta be wild.
It's really crazy. I mean, this wasn't like the first time it has happened, but it's every other time that it has. I'm in a block of other short films, and I watch mine along the other ones, and I'm like, well, mine doesn't deserve to be here. But you know, naturally have those thoughts.
Right.
Yeah. Although I have been to some festivals where I'm like, okay, wait a second, mine's pretty good.
Got this in the bag.
Yeah, but it's like, I feel like that's another trait of like the beginning stage of filmmaking is where you look at it like very competitively, and like that's not what that shit's about.
Most definitely. Like it I've talked to Theo about this like a few times. Like in the beginning, it definitely feels like you're just kind of looking at the top of the mountain, and you're like, why can't I be at the top? But you know, you got to climb the mountain to get to the top.
Yeah,
and it's not necessarily like in a competition sense, you know, just you got to start somewhere to inevitably become as big as the people that you idolize, you know?
Exactly. And it's like there is absolutely no such thing as like an overnight success. I mean, to the people watching, it seems like it, but people that like genuinely are good and get successful, like they've been working on that shit forever.
Right. And then they just have one thing that pops.
Yep.
And then It looks like they came out of nowhere, but then they had 10, 12 years of experience before that.
And also, like, with shorts, too, since, I mean, I haven't made a feature yet either. I've written one feature, and I'm writing a second one, but the second one I'm writing is probably going to be the first one I make. It's, like, more lower budget, but I won't talk about that yet. That's still so far down the line. But I definitely do want to make a feature. But with shorts, dude, like, no one's really going to see it. Like, some people will, don't get me wrong, but, like, not to the scale of a feature.
Right.
Shorts are absolutely for experimenting. Like, if you just have one cool little idea you want to fuck around with, like, make a short. Like, if you want to fuck around with a different camera, or you have this cool little editing thing you want to try out, build a short around it.
That's an interesting way to look at it. I never really thought about doing it like that.
Yeah.
So, shorts are like sketching before you paint.
Kind of, yeah, honestly, that's a pretty good
analogy.
It is, actually, because there's a lot of things I've been doing in my most recent shorts that are practice for the feature I'm writing.
Right, just kind of using techniques, as you were saying, just like lenses and camera angles and editing techniques.
Yeah, because then, like,
it's really an interesting way to look at it.
Once you kind of, like, become comfortable with the tools of making something, that's when creativity can, like, really kind of burst through. When you're, like, especially with editing for me, like, I've been editing for years, and it's to the point where I feel like I can damn near do anything I want with editing, because I've been in Premiere for, like, 15 years now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Something crazy, like, as a kid. So it's just, like, I feel like I can just really have fun with editing. And I'm starting to get to that point with writing. I definitely think I'm the best thing. Well, I don't know. I think I'm pretty solid at directing, too. But writing is, like, definitely still the hardest thing for me to do. It's a lot to stare at a blank page. And, like,
I totally understand that.
I mean, you know how it is, man. Like, and it's... I mean, what, your new short's, 8 pages?
Yeah, 8... somewhere in between 7, 8, 9,
and that's like a good short length. That's like perfect, because
Mm-hmm.
there's festivals that, I mean, honestly, every short you make, try to make it under 10 minutes. You don't need to go bigger than that. Every one I've had that has, like, 15 maybe is the limit. Like, One Last Time is 15 minutes, and that, like, the production value, I think, is kind of what gets into these festivals. But like 10 Love 7 minutes, the new one I just shot a couple weeks ago. Oh yeah, there's a new one. I've literally not talked about this at all on the internet.
Oh shit.
There's a new movie I made, and I fucking love it. But I literally can't just stop making shit. But anyways, but they're short. They're really short. And I went to a festival in Palm Springs last month with Tenant Love, and I was talking to a lot of people there, and I met this guy who was one of the programmers, and he asked me like how long my short was, and I was like 7 minutes. He's like, thank God, thank you. Because those programmers, they have to sit there and watch short after short after short.
Right.
And like, man, if they open up yours and it's 23 minutes long, they're already gonna be like, God damn.
I'm gonna have to watch this on 1.5 speed, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So like, if you keep it short, like, even because I know you always like talk about on the podcast where like, damn, the night shift's like really short. You know,
Right.
It's like, damn, the credits are as long as the movie kind of thing. It's like, that's totally fine. Like, that's not a criticism you need to like worry about right now. Honestly, the shorter the better. Because one of the biggest mistakes that like I see young filmmakers do, and myself at the early stages, like visions alone, persecution. Gotta hate persecution. What the fuck is that? Anyways, but those movies, I tried to cram a feature into a short. Like,
Right.
do not do that. Like, you do not need to tell a feature-length story in a short. You need a couple characters. You need just one emotional punch, and then just make it work around that. Because, like, yeah, the more you try to add into it, the more it's going to drag it down and become unfocused. And, yeah, it's tricky. It's a tightrope to walk.
I must say, I never really thought about writing a short or anything, but that's a really interesting way to think about it. Cause
yeah, for example, okay, Ten of Love, the initial idea of it, because you guys have seen, or have you watched it? Yeah. So this comes out Thursday, right?
Yeah, it'll come out Thursday.
Okay, so the short film comes out tomorrow. Plug.
Go check it out. We'll put your your page in the
so it comes
description.
out tomorrow. So like, if you're watching this today, like, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's one shot in this movie That was my initial idea, and it's when he pulls the blanket up over him,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Super 8 like memories like is like part of the blanket, because there's a line that says I'm wrapping myself in memories,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to like literally do that,
That's cool as fuck.
and that was the only idea I had going to the short. And the reason why is because my old roommate in LA, because I have a new roommate now, but he was one of the first ones to live there. One of his friends had this massive green screen, and he's like, "You want this?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?"
Hell
And,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, "I'll take it." And it was, I mean, it was like too big, dude, because it was like literally the material of like a comforter. Like it wasn't really thin, like you could just hang it up on a wall really easily. Like this thing was heavy as hell, to the point where it was a blanket. And I was like, "Wait a second, what if it was a blanket?"
That's cool as fuck.
What if I just like used it as a blanket and then put something on the blanket? That's literally how 10 of Love came about.
That's cool
Because
as fuck.
I just wanted to fuck around with that one little idea,
Right.
and then the short just kind of happens around it. And like
That's
it's
cool as fuck, honestly.
yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's just like it's not even, and that's what's cool about that short is like that moment. I really like that part of it. I also like how your poster's in it, like a few shots
Yeah.
before it.
Oh,
Cool
yeah.
as fuck. I had to slap that on there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Gotta plug it. But I love that like the story kind of naturally built out around it. It's cool, and then I really love the performances.
It's a really fucking solid short. I like it a lot.
Thanks, man.
It looks really fucking cool too.
Thanks. Yeah.
Did you end up using that camera that we
Super 8?
used for
the Black
yeah,
Lives Matter documentary?
Yeah.
Yep. Same exact one. Same exact one.
that's sick as
Yeah,
fuck. I love the quality of that footage.
Dude, it looks so cool. And then my friend Stacia, she was my DP on the first Snow, which I feel like everything that I nitpick about that movie has to do with my writing and my directing. But the one thing I absolutely love about that short is her cinematography. It's beautiful. It's the prettiest movie, like color wise, I think, that I've ever had. I like One Last Time a lot too, but like, man, the color and that, because we were just like in a house and she makes it look, all the blues that she pulls out of that short. Have you seen this short?
Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate it. But like, I really like how that looks. So like every time I want color correction, I always reach out to her from now on. And like she did the color for Tinted Love as well.
Hell yeah. I
And,
love
like,
the color in that one.
The Super 8 footage just pops. Like when they're at Griffith Observatory, the greens,
Yeah.
God, it looks so cool. I love the look of that camera. And it was really cool because the first time we used it, you did it with me, and we went to the protests for Black Lives Matter downtown in 2020, and I didn't know, I've never used that camera. It could have been blank.
I might say we was just pointing and hoping it was recording.
We're just like, I mean, I hope this turns out. It'd be cool if it did.
Right.
But I found this camera in my basement and just ordered film and, just read a bunch of shit about how it works. Because, I mean, like, I learned some about film at film school, but that was more like 35 millimeter, like, legit. Like, you got to have a dark room and a tent on set to put your hands in to develop it or take it out of the camera. Super 8's just like you pop it in. It's like really prosumer because that's what it was made for. So I'm like, oh, this is easy. I can do this shit. Let's try it. And then we shot that, and it did really fucking well. I love that piece. But yeah, I wanted to do something that wasn't a documentary on it. I wanted to do narrative.
Hell yeah.
And that's also why I wanted to do 10 of Love. And because I was like, what can I put on the blanket? Super 8. And that's obviously I was high when I came up with this shit. And California, don't worry.
Oh, I ain't worried about nothing.
I don't give a shit then. Yeah, whatever. But that was a lot of fun to do. And now with the new one, I'll pitch a little bit. Me and Robbie wrote something together.
Oh, hell yeah.
If you don't, I think you've mentioned Robbie on the podcast a few times, but he's my roommate, and I went to Full Sail with him. And he's the co-host of Oxymorons, which we're bringing back, by the way.
That was one of my talking points.
Is it really?
Yeah. I was going to ask you when we going to get to the next episode of Oxymorons.
Literally, we're recording like the day I get back to LA.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it.
Like September, and we're gonna make it to season 3.
Hell yeah.
Like we could continue season 2, And Robbie's like, I mean, it's 6 episodes. That's enough.
That works for me.
I think you guys have like caught up to us now with episodes. Well,
I think this is 17.
I don't know how many
if
we
I'm
have.
correct.
Season 1 may have. I don't know. I don't know if we've hit 20 or not, but it's fun to do. Anyways, that's coming back, and that's Robbie and I wrote this short. It's like 3 pages, really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the thing that made me want to write this is that we had leftover rolls of film from Tinted Love, and I was like, well, I gotta use this somehow,
Right.
and that's why we've made this. And so yeah, it's on Super 8 again. But the thing with this one is in Tinted Love, all the Super 8 stuff, it's like there's no dialogue. It's just like, capturing that moment.
Right, just the moments
Yeah.
of the...
But this one, we actually have like dialogue scenes on Super 8.
That'll be cool as fuck.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of it. Like,
Hell
if
yeah.
this turns out, I mean, I've seen the footage, and I've like been color correcting some myself because it's in black and white, which I can like kind of. I'm trying to teach myself. Like, I love Stacia's stuff,
Right.
but I also don't want to like overwhelm her because she's like an actual like paid DP, and like I don't know if she wants to do it all the time. So, but anyways, I've just been fucking around with it myself, and I'm a big fan of it and the performances and the script, and yeah, I think it's one of those like happy little accident kind of movies where we just like throw some shit together and I'm like, this is the best thing I've made.
Hell yeah.
And that's the kind of shit to pull it all back around to this. I feel like I'm just talking my ass off here.
Oh, you're fine, dude.
That's the kind of shit you gotta do, Theo. Is like, I have these like bigger shorts where like I need the location, I need this many actors, I want to get the rights to this song, and like there's another short I have written now that like that's in the process of.
Mm-hmm.
God, I got so much shit going on. I guess that one's a sci-fi crazy shit.
Interesting.
Yeah, you read it, right? Sassafras. I think I sent you the
Yeah.
script.
I mean, I don't remember
Yeah.
what it says, but
I guess
think
it's
you
shit.
did,
No.
But
No,
I've had a lot going on.
no,
since.
I'm fucked with you, man. Yeah, thanks for reading it. But yeah. So like, I have the bigger shorts. Like that one's 14 pages and has 8 characters, and
Interesting.
I want to shoot on like home video tapes.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
cool as fuck.
And that was the idea for that. Where I'm like, I want to shoot on this. How can I do a story around that? Because I'm just I used to be so focused on like the themes and like the message and all this shit, but the trick is like not to think about that shit, and it comes naturally. Like, it'll shine through the stuff you make.
Most definitely.
But yeah, just go out and make shit like that, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna have 2 of my friends, because I was the only person on the crew for this new one that me and Robbie did. I mean, we were all crew, but like I was the only one shooting it. Like, there was no one helping me because Robbie was acting, and then our other friend Isaiah, shout out Isaiah, he's incredible in this movie, and he's a rapper. He goes by Savage. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
He's awesome. Listen to his shit. Plug it.
I'll
But,
put it in the description below.
Yeah.
In the doobly-doo.
And the dude. That's funny.
That's a throwback.
Wheezy Waiter throwback. Anyways, yeah, to get some friends, like, get like 2 people together and just shoot something. Like, you don't have to make it like look amazing. No one has to see this shit, but like, get comfortable directing 2 people in a scene together.
I have this idea for a new one.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm.
It's kind of like Oppenheimer based,
Oh shit.
but it's just 2 scientists trying to figure out some mathematic equations for something.
That sounds cool, because it could be like a one location kind of thing.
Yeah.
There you go. See, you put a chalkboard in there. You dress them up in a nice little suit.
Bada bing, bada boom.
You can shoot that on your. I mean, I say you can shoot on your phone. You have a nice ass camera now. But what's another thing? What's cool about like shooting in black and white too? If you would like do that, and just because you talk about Oppenheimer, is it hides like a lot of like the digital fuzz sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially like when I shot this short called Ivory on my iPhone. I put it in black and white. One, because it like fit the themes, but also like shooting on an iPhone, the color is kind of shit. Especially the iPhone 10 that I shot on. So yeah, like put that shit in black and white. You know, you got 2 actors in there. Just like make it a really compelling scene. And then what's cool is like there's a few shorts I've made that no one has seen. I just fucking dump them. Like, nah.
I've been there before with music and stuff. Like, you spend months and months on it, and
Yeah.
you're like, I don't even like it anymore.
Mm-hmm. And it was stuff like that where it was like just the, a couple people. Or there was one I did like a 48-hour film that I never released because it's a crazy time. I don't need to.
I must say, especially with the time restraint and stuff on
Dude,
it. Like,
48-hour film projects are crazy. Do you know about these?
Yeah, you told me about them.
Bro.
How you have to do everything in like 48 hours. And
So the way it
Yeah.
works is you show up to the
Everything,
place, and you have like your whole team's there, and there's other teams, and you literally pull a genre out of a hat, and then 48 hours later you got to come back with that genre. Done.
that would be the hard part for me, just having a
Yeah.
random genre assigned.
It's a genre, and then it's also a prop that has to be in it. One of the movies we did because I've done it twice. One of them was like a turkey baster. Just has to be in your movie somewhere.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, what the fuck? And then there has to be a character. I forget what the hell the character name was, but he was like one of the movies. It was Tom Browning. I remember it. Tom Browning, who was a plumber, has to be in the movie somewhere.
He just comes to the door with a turkey baster.
Yeah, like, hi, I'm Tom Browning. I'm a plumber. Here's a turkey baster. And then the last thing is there's like a line of dialogue that has to be in it somewhere. It's always some like dumb shit that
Right.
like you can kind of put into any situation. But yeah, so like I do remember though, because like after that you finish them, there's a little festival.
Right. Everybody watches them or whatever.
And I remember we watched one of them, and that exact thing that I said happened. Where they
That's
just knocked
hilarious.
out all of it in like one scene. We're like, hello, I'm this person. Here's the prop. Here's the line. All right, cool, we're good. And he leaves, and he's never in the movie again.
What the
It's
fuck?
awesome because
That's hilarious.
I think there was like a comedy, so it worked.
Right.
But I remember the one that I pulled for the one I wanted, the last one that I did that I didn't end up releasing was holiday film. That's the genre I got. But the thing is that I really wanted to do horror because at that time I had just written my first feature, which was horror. So I wanted to practice horror, like we were
Right.
saying, like it's the sketches, right? And yeah, it was just kind of a mess of a shoot, and really cool location. I use it like in my demo reel, and yeah, it was just it was a lot. There was a lot going on for that one, but yeah, it's out. It's not out there. I have it still, but it's cool though because I did make that one with this guy. His name's Colin Stroop. Shout out. He's kind of how you're like asking me questions all the time, like about film. Like he was that for me when I was in high school, and he would like help me out, and he taught me so much shit. He's
Hell yeah.
awesome. So
Shouts out.
yeah, he was super helpful. Like I remember I had to do a senior project for high school, and I just like shadowed him on a short film, and I like that weekend alone put me ahead of like so many people like in film school, because I was like, oh yeah, this is easy. I can kind of understand how this works now.
Most definitely. It's all about just like your exposure and just meeting new people, and it's not necessarily just about writing scripts and trying to shoot them. You know, you got to learn from other people somewhere, whether it be on the internet or in
Yeah.
person, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that's an important part of like trying to become a filmmaker is like trying to find somebody that's already in the business that'll like give you access to like shadow them on a project that they're doing, or like give you tips or something about that stuff.
Definitely. I mean, it helps a lot. And like, and yeah, like I've been doing that for you. Like you can ask me anything. You have asked me anything. I guess like the one word of advice is like, if I say some shit, don't take it as gospel, you know?
Right.
Like there's other ways of doing stuff. There's other trains of thought. I'm just going to tell you how I've gotten to where I am and the kind of shit I like to make. But like, yeah, do your own shit too, man. Like, if you like yesterday you were like, should I buy a drone or a micro lens? And I'm like, do you need it for your movie? I mean, I would just rent it if I needed it. And he's like, nah, I want it. I'm like, cool, man, get it. Like, get that shit if you want it. You know what I mean? If you want to save up and get it, but use it.
That's the important part. You gotta put into practice all the shit that you're buying.
But anyways, making art is very fun, and Lots of crazy shit. I feel like this is a good segue into movie of the week, actually.
Well, let's get on into it then. Film of the week. All right? So for film of the week, since we have Kyle, a director in his own right, we let him choose the film of the week. You want to tell him what it is?
Yeah, sure. It's this documentary called Shirkers. I wanted to sound like a pretentious asshole and pick a movie no one has heard of.
Okay, I'm gonna say I had never heard of it either.
No,
but
I mean, you're not the only one. No one's seen this movie, but
it's fucking good as shit.
Did you liked
it? It's
good
as fuck. I like it a lot.
Fuck yeah.
I love the old school camera. I'm a fucking sucker for that shit.
Yeah.
I love the aesthetic of the old 80s, old 90s film look.
Yeah, it was super, or I don't know if it was Super 16 or just 16 millimeter, but yeah, 16 millimeter. But that's actually one of the biggest inspirations for the look of Tin and Love was that movie. When she's laying in the grass and how that green just pops out.
Right.
Compare that shot to the stuff at the observatory when they're sitting out on the picnic. It's fucking identical. I definitely I used that as a big influence. Just color wise, I love the look of it.
Oh my god, talking about film, Oppenheimer.
Oh,
that shit was crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
The colors of Oppenheimer and everything.
Well, knowing what I know now, I appreciate it just a little bit more. But the experience was literally it was so atrocious. I was having a hard time watching the movie. So I couldn't enjoy the movie because I wasn't enjoying the experience.
I luckily had a really great experience. I also saw it on 70 millimeter like you guys did. And yeah, I guess I should have warned you. Be yeah, no, those seats you're gonna be tight in there.
Yeah, it's a tight squeeze in there.
I mean they're selling out every showtime, so they got to pack in everybody. But I really like that movie. I think it's probably my favorite of Nolan's, just because I feel like it has the most to say, and
yeah,
I think it's really funny when people get mad at Barbie for being woke and shit, and then I'm yo, Oppenheimer is has way cooler leftist kind of politics in it, especially just the Red Scare shit and
oh yeah.
It's really cool. I'm a big fan of Oppenheimer. I really love Barbie too. They're both awesome. You guys haven't seen Barbie yet?
I haven't seen Barbie yet. No.
It's really fun. Has a lot of cool stuff to say, and it's just Ryan Gosling's just funny as hell.
That's what I've heard. Ryan Gosling's funny as fuck.
But, Shirkers. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So it's a documentary. I've honestly never seen a movie like this.
Me neither, honestly.
It's one of the most unique things I've ever seen. You watched it too, right?
Yeah.
So I watched it last night at 1 a.m, and I was talking to my dad this morning, and he was your mom closed the door because she could hear you watching the TV, and she was I don't know what he's watching, but it sounds weird.
That's bright as fuck.
I'm it is kind of a weird documentary because it's I don't want to give too much away, but it's a really cool story about filmmaking, because it's these high schoolers, or they may it was post high school. It was 19-year-olds.
Yeah. Who
basically just tried to get this movie made, and their film instructor, who's from America. It's in Singapore, by the way. They're all Singaporean. But their film instructor from America is directing it, and he's 3 times their age, and it kind of turns into a true crime kind of bit there for a little bit. It's
yeah.
It's combining the true crime style with the creative process of making a movie, and how it's almost these kids who loved filmmaking and loved the joy of making art with their friends immediately get thrown into the realness of what this industry can be, where it's there's some creepy ass dudes in it, there's egos, and even the director herself, it's a very non-reliable narrator.
Yeah, I'm throughout the whole movie, her friends are just telling her how much of a bitch she was.
Yeah.
And you can kind of get that through the direction style that she has, the questions that she's asking, the way that she's trying to portray herself in the story, when you can kind of see that she was being a bitch the whole time, and she just doesn't want to accept it.
Yeah. No.
She kind of becomes the guy that fucked her over, essentially.
Yeah, and then she, instead of like making another movie, she just like becomes obsessed with this one. And yeah, it's another cool like story about how like passion can so easily turn into obsession, which like I definitely felt like in high school when I was making movies. Like I like crossed that line and like was like just fucking wanting to make shit like constantly, and
Right.
kind of forgot that it's fun. And like I turned it more competitive, and like making art competitive is literally like the complete opposite of what art is supposed to be.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And I mean, it took me like a while to realize that, but I think the more you make shit and the more you like become more confident in yourself as an artist, you realize that. And
Yeah, the more people are like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this is really good production value, or
yeah.
like they enjoy the experience of the
Mhm.
movie more and more as they watch what you're doing.
No, for sure. And I think like I am much more like, I'm still at the very beginning of my career, you know. It hasn't even fucking started, to be honest. Like I'm still just fucking around and like trying shit, and yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about half the time. But like because I've practiced and made all this, I'm slowly being more confident in how to make movies. And I think you always just kind of have to stay like, you know, in that mindset of, yeah, no, I'm still learning.
Oh yeah, I'm as you definitely have to be willing to learn something from somebody. Like if you're the smartest person in the room, you should move rooms. Like if you feel like you've learned everything from a certain person or something, that's all right, but
Yeah.
you only know what they taught you.
It's true. It's very true. And I've like, I mean, yeah, I've made so many friends while making movies, but I've also like lost some friends by doing it too, just because, I mean, not necessarily on purpose, but just, yeah, you just don't work with them as well anymore, or, yeah, you wanna make some other shit. And I mean, it's also just like me moving cities too.
Right.
So it's like, I made like movies with people in high school, and then I kept pursuing it by going to school, and then some of them did, some of them didn't, and then so I didn't really make much movies with people that I made with in high school anymore. And then the same thing happened with like college,
Right.
where it's like they're still in Orlando or they moved back to wherever they're from. So it's like I've kind of had to like reestablish like a network like every single city I've been in, which is kind of a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I feel it's definitely one of those things that you just have to do.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
if you want any chance of making something that you feel is worthwhile.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And it's like I'm just now starting to get like a solid crew that I enjoy working with in LA. But yeah, it's fun to just make shit even if you don't have a crew. And that's like why the little small movies that I've made are like some of my favorites, because it's like, oh, I am trying to build this network and I don't know anyone, but I still need to make something. And that's when I'm like, I'll just pull out my phone or I'll shoot something else on Super 8 because it looks cool. So, and then that's when cool shit happens. Like it doesn't always have to be like this massive like production. And that's the whole like quality versus quantity argument you're talking about.
Right.
Where it's like sometimes it's just like the resources literally aren't there for quality. So strip it down as much as you can.
Right. You just got to kind of find a way around it to
And
make
that's
it
when,
look all right.
that's when you have to get creative.
Yeah.
That's when you become a good filmmaker and a good storyteller, because you realize, oh, wait a second. The story and the performances are like, I think, what matters the most in terms of like actually having an impact on someone. So yeah, and you could do that in one room.
For sure.
So yeah,
It's just all about how you use it,
definitely. But
All right.
yeah.
Well, let's hop on from the film of the week on into the album of the week.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. So for the album of the week this week, I chose a band very near and dear to me and Kyle. It's the Black Keys Brothers album. So listening to this album recently, I've kind of had a kick to get back into like actually making guitar music and not making everything on the iPad as I've been doing recently. But coming to realize the even though the drums on the iPad sound good, you know, I just kind of want that realness of like a real set.
Yeah.
But seeing as that we live in two different cities, it's a little difficult to do. But
Yeah. Tell me
I
about
might just have to learn the drums and have Luke play the guitar or something. I don't know. Make a little band with Luke and Matthew. That'd be fried.
That'd be hilarious. Dude, Luke's getting good. I know I already talked about this, but like,
Oh yeah, he's good as fuck.
yeah, he's got the creative gene.
I think it's kind of funny that, like, Jalen is pursuing music, I'm pursuing filmmaking, and you're pursuing filmmaking, and then Luke is pursuing
It's
music.
fun.
It is kind of weird how the paths cross there.
But it's kind of nice because I feel like both of those art forms just like perfectly balance each other out.
Oh, most definitely.
It's like, oh, for film, like, oh, you can do the music for my movie, but then for music, it's like, yo, can you make my music video for me? Like, you can really just cross them over so perfectly. I mean, it's like why, I guess for those who don't know it, like, we were in a band in high school. Good old
Lighthouse Landing.
Shout out.
Checks it out.
Nah, the best stuff we made is under JAK now. But it was a lot of fun, man. And like as a freshman in high school, I didn't really know which art form I wanted to pursue more. But my thought was that like, oh, film has music in it.
There you go.
So I can like still kind of do both. But I'm glad that I like kind of focused on one because now like music is a really fun hobby for me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So like even just listening to music and sometimes like I mean I did this once sometimes. There's like a rental studio in North Hollywood. Name drop of North Hollywood, you know.
Oh yeah.
Where you can like rent a studio for like $17 an hour, and they got a full drum kit, amps, and all that.
That's cool.
So I'll
as
just
fuck.
go in there and just like pound on the drums for an hour. Because my roommate Waldo, he wanted to learn the drums, so I like gave him a little lesson. It was fun. It was a good
That's
time.
cool as fuck.
Yeah, but I can't have a kit in an apartment, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, so I got the cajon. I'll bust it out every once in a while when the ladies are around.
You know. You ever heard? You know what a cajon is?
It's just pow, 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 pow. It's like, wow, what a romantic set. The cajon's fun though.
It is a good time.
I feel like I'm honestly better at the cajon than the kit, if I'm being real. But yeah, that's cool that you've been wanting to make that. But brothers, to bring it back.
Okay. Circling it back. Anyway, so the album really doesn't have a miss on it. It's so fucking good, you know. It starts off with like Tighten Up is like the second or third track.
Yeah, I listened to it this morning because I woke up so damn early because of the roof. I was like, all right, I can listen to Brothers real quick. So I listened to like half of it at the gym, and then I came back and like passed the fuck out on the couch to like the second half of it. But it's like Everlasting Light, Tighten Up, Next Girl. Wait. No, it's yeah.
I'll pull it up
It's
real quick.
Everlasting Light, Next Girl, Tighten Up, Howling for You, is the first 4 tracks, which are just like all amazing.
Just like the sound of the Black Keys in general is like that's part of the reason like why I feel like we made a band.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a drummer and a guitarist from the middle of nowhere, and we're like, hold up. Kyle
do it
plays
too.
the drums and I can learn the guitar. It's,
Yeah.
You know, I started out playing keys, and then our other bandmate Curtis, he was like, "You want to learn the guitar?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll learn the guitar. Why not?" And he taught me a little riff, and I was like, "Well, I guess I'm playing guitar from now on."
Yeah.
So.
No, it was, man, it's fun as hell. Even like whenever we do jam sessions now, I still love it. I miss it a lot, honestly.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Just like the chemistry between everybody and just I don't it's one of those things you can't really explain how it feels.
Just like the little like head nods we can give each other.
Oh,
to,
yeah,
like, know that it's over or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really funny because like I think people don't. I mean, I didn't realize how rare that was.
Right.
Because like I start playing with Luke now on the drums, and I like can't even and like I know Luke so well, but he'll start playing some shit and he'll just like stop me like no. He's like, that's not how I want it. I'm like, yo, calm down.
Come on now. That's Friday as well.
But I also get it, you know. But like with me and you, I feel like we just kind of improvised our way through songs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And somehow made shit work. Yeah.
Most definitely.
But dude, Brothers and Black Keys, like being an influence is so accurate because the Black Keys were my first concert I ever went to,
That's sick as fuck.
and Arctic Monkeys opened for them.
What the fuck? That's crazy as shit.
It was in 7th grade, and I remember, like, I just had such a blast there. And then I remember Tighten Up was on the radio, and I was driving around with I wasn't driving, I was in the passenger seat because I was in 7th grade. But my older brother was driving, and I was just, like, banging on the fucking dash to Tighten Up, and he's like, yo, you are not a drummer. And that comment has stuck with me my entire life, or at least to the point where I was like, well, I'm going to show him.
Be like, watch this.
So guess what song we play all the fucking time? Tighten Up.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I can play this song now.
To this day.
Yeah. It's a fun one, dude.
Oh, that's a guy. Everlasting.
Yeah.
You got Everlasting Light. You got Next Girl, Tighten Up, Howling for You, She's Long Gone, Black Mud.
Dude, She's Long Gone is really good.
It is really
it's
good.
It's like, I realized this when I was listening to it today, where like it gets, after all those hits, it gets better.
Oh yeah, I'm like the album literally doesn't have a miss on it. The entire, 55 minutes and 35 seconds of it is fucking good as shit.
It's their best one. It's the one that they won a Grammy for.
I might say, in my opinion, it's their best album.
Yeah, because I feel like I have a soft spot for El Camino though. I really love El Camino.
El Camino is really good too.
Because like that's like, I was already kind of playing the drum. Wait, no, El Camino may have like just come out when I was learning too. Because like Goal in the Ceiling and all that.
Yeah, El Camino was 2011. Brothers was 2010.
Okay, yeah. So then I saw, man, they came out like back to back like that.
Yeah.
Holy shit. They do pump out albums pretty fast though. They had like that long break and then they back to it. They're like 10 or 11 now.
Yeah, one in 2002, 2003, 2004, 2 in 2006, 1 in 2008, 10, 11, 14, 19.
Yeah, see that big gap there because it was like Turn Blue was 14.
Yeah.
Which, dude, have you listened to Turn Blue recently?
I haven't really. I didn't really care for it much when it came out.
I didn't before, but oh my god, listen to that shit now.
I might have to.
It is, I think it's kind of ahead of its time a little bit. It's psychedelic and shit. It's really cool. I saw the Black Keys last year, out in LA, and I just kind of went on a kick before I saw them. I was like, I'm gonna listen to a lot of their shit just because I haven't been like a massive fan of them recently because I mean their newer stuff is like a little. It kind of all sounds similar.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to go back to the old style of stuff with like a newer sound.
It's overproduced.
Yeah, it definitely seems like I'm always gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
I listened to it once through. I probably won't listen to it again, honestly.
That's
but
kind of how the last few have been for me too. But I went back because like I remember Turn Blue is like where I felt that kind of started.
Yeah.
But I went back and I was like, no, this is actually pretty good. It's a lot better than their like most recent ones.
I must say I don't really remember listening to Let's Rock, the 2019 one.
Yeah, that one's like. There's like the first track I remember being pretty good. I don't remember what it's called though.
Shine a Little Light.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you listen to the Black Keys much, Theo, or have you?
I did when you guys were a band. But
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean that was like kind of their peak, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Around like 2013, 14.
Yeah, because you've got like the most like whack music taste I've heard. At least just from the podcast.
Oh, it's
just
literally
all over the place.
Just like a little bit of that.
Yeah.
It's everything.
I mean, honestly, I kind of relate. I listen to all kinds of weird shit. Like I listen to I've been really getting into like jazz.
Oh, I love jazz so much.
I had a reggae kick a couple months ago, like
That's
during
hilarious.
the summer. Just like sit out in the balcony, like palm trees around me.
Just got like, some bongos. Just
I'm like, you know what would be really good right now? Yeah, I know.
That's hilarious.
I was literally about to say, you know what would be really good right now? Bob Marley.
That's fried.
Three Little Birds would go hard right now. And then I just like broke off and like found like modern reggae sounds and
that's cool.
And there's this band I've been listening to called Wild Bell. That one, they're really fucking good because it's like more rock and reggae together. It's a really cool sound. If I would have been tasked with album of the week as well, I would have maybe picked that.
Interesting.
It was
I have to check them out.
It's from like 2013. Wild Bell. I think Isles is the album name, but I've listened to that like over and over again. Lots of like saxophone, and I love horns so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to learn the trumpet.
That'd be sick, dude.
It's a little loud for an apartment, but
yeah. Dude, I went to a show last year as well of this jazz band in San Diego. Actually, it was that's the only other time I've been back since we hung out in San Diego. That one time, that was fun as hell.
Oh, it was a good ass time.
But we drove down. Me and Robbie went. We drove down there, and there's this band called Sons of Kemet, and all it is two drummers, which is crazy. Two drummers,
right?
Yeah, wild. And then a tuba player, and then a guy that is either playing flute or saxophone.
That's wild.
And that's all it is. And it's the craziest sound I've ever heard in my life.
What was their name?
Sons of Kemet.
Sons of Kemet. I'm gonna have to check them out.
Yeah, dude, it is easily like top 5 shows I've ever been to. It's like a pretty small venue, and the energy they had, the two drummers like being perfectly in sync, crazy. It's the best drumming I've ever seen live.
That's cool as fuck. I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, there was the tuba guy. There was a tuba solo. I didn't know that was I mean, of course it's possible, but like, who the fuck does a tuba solo and then makes it sound really good?
That's fucking crazy.
I couldn't believe it. I was blown away by them. But yeah, the reason we went is that one of the drummers, Robbie's like a massive Radiohead fan, which, you know, to each their own, I guess.
Yeah. We ain't gotta talk about it, Robbie.
I've grown on them a bit now that I've like listened to songs other than Creep, you know, and High and Dry. But there's some good ones. I'll give it. It's just the vocals are hard for me to get around, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a little questionable at times.
Yeah, sorry, Robbie. But they have this side project called The Smile, and I hot take, I think they're better than Radiohead, because the drummer from Sons of Kemet is the drummer of The Smile, and so it's like Tom York and Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead with this drummer, and it has this like really cool jazzy sound to it, but like jazz and rock. The drums are like, imagine a jazz drummer playing a rock song.
Is that they got that one song that's
The Smoke?
It's like
yeah, that's The Smoke.
Yeah. It's a really good fucking song. I haven't listened to too much of them outside of that song, but
I also saw them. I saw them live too, and it was like that Dane DeVito meme where he's like, "I get it, like I understand it." That was like me with Radiohead. As soon as I went to that show, dude, Radiohead fans are so fucking funny, because they'll like at that show, they just sit there and they all sit down. They're not like staying up and having a good time. All these guys are just sitting there like just invested in it.
Just absorbing the music.
It was so funny to see, because I've never been to a show like that.
Right.
And I kind of liked it, actually.
That's fucking fried. I've never sat down at a concert before.
I have me either, man. I don't like it, but if everyone's kind of doing it, and it's just like, that's kind of the vibe of them just like really like absorbing this music.
Just sitting there and just
they're all just kind of
head bopping.
They're like just really focusing on it. I mean, Robbie told me he went to just a Tom York solo show, and someone got shushed in the crowd. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Nah, dog.
Calm the fuck down. Right. But it was kind of like, when you're there, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. They're like really just absorbing that.
That's fried as fuck.
But goofy as hell for like any other band. But man, they were really good. The Smile. They were really good live. But anyways, yeah, that jazz shit. So yeah, point being, God, I go on so many fucking tangents.
It's all good.
It's ridiculous. You can tell I've podcasted before. I'm just like, let's fill an hour of time. But yeah, my music taste is also all over the place. Like I'll listen to jazz, I'll listen to reggae or classical.
That's how I am a little bit. I just I listen to one song and I'm like, oh shit, this song sounds like this other song, and then end up listening to something obscure for a month and a half.
You just go down like the YouTube rabbit hole.
Oh yeah,
music.
Yeah.
My favorite genre is still folk, though, for sure. Anytime like an acoustic guitar comes out and starts finger picking, I'm like, Put me next to the fire pit, man. I'm there. I love it.
It is a pretty good genre. I listen to a decent amount of folk nowadays still.
The Avett Brothers have become one of my favorites.
Oh, they're so good.
I'm a big fan. But yeah. Well, what you got going on, Theo? You haven't said too much. I feel like I'm taking over this mic, man.
I don't have that much.
Talk about your new short. I want to talk to you about it. I always hear about it on the podcast.
Necronomicon.
Yeah, dude.
Motherfucker trying to cast a spell or some shit.
Oh shit, Necronomicon.
I mean, I've been working on a lot of the props for it and stuff.
Yeah.
The
photos you've sent me of the props are really cool, I have to say. They look cool.
I talked to some people about using the school for a location.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten back to me on that or anything. And I'm still trying to get some actors together.
Have you followed up with because that was a few weeks, right?
Yeah, I haven't had time to follow up with them yet. Though.
Yeah, definitely reach out soon if they haven't said anything.
Most definitely.
But I can also probably get you into Greenwood too if need be. So
that's what I was saying. There's different schools you could try.
We got contacts, but I like the script a lot. I really like how the changes you made to it. I can see yourself improving. It's really cool, man. So keep going. I really like it. Is there like anything specific that drew you into wanting to make horror? Because it is horror. I don't know if they know that.
Yeah,
but it's horror. I would say it's horror. Psychological horror.
I wouldn't say that like there's a specific reason, but I've always liked Tim Burton as a director, and I like all of his like weird looks on different things.
Yeah.
So.
Did you know that me and Tim Burton share a birthday?
No, I didn't.
The more you know.
Yeah, August 25th. It's coming up.
Happy early birthday.
I mean, yeah, shout out Tim Burton.
Shouts out for about the 84th time on this program.
Really. Dude, you need to watch Ed Wood though, because that's my favorite Tim Burton movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It has Johnny Depp as the lead, and it's about. Do you know anything about it at all?
I know it's based on a director. But
yeah, Ed Wood. He was like this. He would direct like horror movies, like B horror movies, just like shit. Mm-hmm. And he was almost like the Tommy Wiseau, like The Room.
Yeah,
that shit. He was like that for the 50s and I think it was 50s, and maybe anywhere from the 40s to 60s. I don't know.
Sounds good to me.
But that shit's funny as hell. It's really funny because of like how ridiculous he is, but it's also like cool to see. I mean, anything like about filmmaking, I just really like. That's like why Shirkers is such a cool movie too. But Ed Wood, damn, I really should have picked Ed Wood and made you go watch that finally. No. But no, Ed Wood is really, really great. I'm a big fan. I've only seen it once, but I think it's his best. So watch it. It's cool.
I definitely will.
Although I did watch Beetlejuice in theaters for the first time, like on film, at this really like old school movie theater in LA that it's called the New Beverly, and Tarantino owns it. So like a lot of the prints are like his own personal prints. So they show like Tarantino movies all the time, but they'll also show like cool shit like that. So I've seen like Jaws there, Beetlejuice, which was on Halloween, by the way. That was cool as fuck. That was the first time I'd ever seen it. I don't know how the hell I hadn't seen Beetlejuice, honestly.
Right, I hadn't seen it until I think Theo chose it for the film of the week a while back.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
When they announced that they were coming out with the second one is when I chose it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with Jen Ortega. Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. That theater's awesome. Most recently I saw Spider-Man 2 there, which was cool as fuck because it's my favorite. It's like one of my favorite movies, honestly. I'll admit it. It's like the one superhero movie like I will always gush about.
It's the original series you're talking about?
Yeah, with Tobey Maguire, Doc Ock. Dude, it's fire.
The fucking memories with those movies.
Seeing that in theaters and like the scene where the newspaper like flashes on screen is like he's back and then he swings through it. Mm-hmm. Dude, the crowd erupted like louder than in-game shit. Like it was fucking awesome because I was like, I've seen this 60 times, but bring it on, man. I want to see him fight Doc Ock again. Like the train sequence. Oh man, I think I like retweeted some shit literally today before I came over here. Someone posted the train sequence, and I'm like, this is the best directed scene in a superhero movie, straight up. It's so, man, I love Spider-Man 2. But anyways, yeah, Tim Burton, New Bev, all that shit. Fuck yeah, dude. Tim Burton's cool.
It's pretty cool.
It took me a bit to get into him, but I think Ed Wood is what really sold me as a Tim Burton fan.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. But anyways, what are the topics you got going on, man?
Okay, so
I've hijacked it.
where are we? We talked about Tinted Love. We talked about some of your other projects. We talked about what's next for you. We talked about the band, and we talked about oxymorons. That's all I had on the docket so far, unless you want to.
Okay, so I can just keep going.
If you want, yeah. I don't care.
What time are we at?
Hour 10.
So
Okay.
I have a question for you, Kyle.
Yeah, ask all you want, man. Yeah, you can.
How was it being on a major film set?
Oh, you want me to talk about that kind of shit?
Oh.
Ooh, those are funny stories.
Being on Star Wars and
Yeah, I can talk about Star Wars. Sure, it's out. No, but yeah, it's really funny because I feel like if I talk to someone for like more than 2 hours, I bring this up. Because like I've working on Star Wars and working on Spider-Man were literally two projects that like were dreams come true, you know, as like the kid within you.
Right.
But what no one is going to tell you is that the coolest parts about that is the clout. Actually working on those things, unless you're like a creative role, because I was just, you know, for Spider-Man, I was COVID testing. So like, I'm like, oh, look, there's Tom Holland. There's Zendaya. Seeing Zendaya in person, though. Pff, dear Lord. She drove by in her SUV to set, and she's just in the car, and I'm just like, oh my God.
oh my God.
Is that an angel?
Moment.
Yeah, no, Zendaya. I had to take a drink of water there, my bad.
He's a guy.
So seeing like those people was really cool. And then on Star Wars, I worked on Obi-Wan, the show, and I was a background actor in it. So I was like in a full-on Star Wars costume, which was goofy as shit, man. Like that was one of the craziest experiences of my entire life. Like me just being on a set with Ewan McGregor and him walking up and being in his Obi-Wan costume with his lightsaber. And I'm just like, yo, this shit's crazy. I couldn't believe it, honestly. Like there was one point where like, I mean, all I had to do was walk across the frame and I somehow fucked that up and ran into Obi-Wan. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh shit, my bad, man. He's like, oh, it's all good. It's all good. Like that dude was so excited to play Obi-Wan again. You could tell in between takes. He was having a good time. Like, I mean, I've been on set with I've seen a lot of different celebrities, I will say. And it's like, you can tell if they want to be there or not. And that's with everybody.
Oh, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
You ever turn into a fanboy about any of them?
I mean, Star Wars, it was damn near close. I mean, I've never like approached an actor and been like, oh my God, like that's like, bro, you're going to get kicked off set so fast if you do shit like that.
Who's the most obscure actor you've seen?
Patrick Warburton. I know the name doesn't sound like familiar, but I guarantee you know who he is. You know, in Family Guy, the guy in the wheelchair. Hey, Peter. You know him?
Oh yeah.
His voice.
Yeah.
He like voices Kronk in Emperor's New Groove. He's in Seinfeld.
Oh, wow.
That guy.
Dude, that guy is funny as fuck. Because you like just go up, and I've had conversations with him because he worked on a movie here in Indianapolis.
Oh, that's cool.
It's still not out yet, which is it's taken a while, but I know it's in festivals now, and it's doing really well in festivals. Dylan Sprouse is also in that movie, so I've talked to Dylan Sprouse a few times.
Oh, that's cool.
Did karaoke, like we had a rap party and we did karaoke, and like I picked Ain't No Rest for the Wicked to sing because like we also play that song.
Right.
And Dylan Sprouse was like half drunk, and he's like, "Yo, Cage the Elephant, let's fucking go!" Oh man,
that's fried.
So. But anyways, Patrick Warburton was on that movie too, and I love him in Seinfeld. He's so fucking funny in Seinfeld. So I talked to him about that a little bit. But it's really, really funny having a conversation with that guy, and then just like that's his voice coming out of him. Like, oh yeah, you know, I worked on Seinfeld. Yeah, you know how it is. Like just the way he talks.
That's
it's
hilarious.
So goofy. But yeah, that was fun. but definitely the most starstruck was Ewan McGregor, I think, because I mean it's Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Right?
dude. Like that's what started all this shit was Star Wars and Spider-Man and. But dude, the one story from Star Wars that like cracks me the fuck up though, is we're on this set and like there's so many background actors. There's droids. Like there's a dude that's just piloting a droid, and then I talked to him and he's like, "Yeah, I've been doing this shit since the prequels, man. You know,
That's
I'm like
funny.
this is crazy." But there was this like creature, and there was two of them. One that was really tall, and one that was pretty small, and they were just giant worms. And they had like an eyeball at the top of them. So they're just like these skinny ass things. And I thought the tall one was like a person in a suit. But like the way they're moving, like you don't see their legs. They're just kind of like rolling around. It's really strange.
Right.
But like the small one was like definitely a robot. Because I was seeing these guys with the remote controls and all this shit. So they call action for background. So they'll go background, you know, and all the background starts moving. And then they'll call action, so that way the actors are just kind of starting in a scene that's already alive, right? So they say background, and these two things start moving, and the small one just falls over and face plants, and I see two little legs sticking out the back of it.
No way.
And they're like, "Oh shit!" Right? And I get up, and they take the costume off, and it's just it's a little person in it, and he walks back over to me, and I'm like, "You good, man?" He's like, "Oh man, it's all good." Like. My balls were getting sweaty in there anyways. I need to take it off for a second. And I was like, I never laughed so loud when it just went pop because the little eyeball thing on the top just smack, right? And I thought it was a robot 10 seconds before that shit. And it was so fucking funny.
That's fucking hilarious.
But yeah, it's shit like that that sticks around with you. But what I was saying in the beginning is like, yeah, it's cool that I've gotten to be on these really cool sets. But if you're not like working in a creative role, like it's not nearly as fulfilling as making your own shit.
I could 100% see that.
Yeah. It's like I'm so much more proud of Tinted Love than I am of working on Star Wars.
Right.
Like it's a cool little fact about me, but I think that's all it really is. You know? That like, oh yeah, I was there, it's cool. But it's not like, oh yeah, I wrote that scene, like I choreographed a fight between Vader and Obi-Wan or some shit. It's just like I was just there.
Right.
And like I don't want to be like taking credit for fucking Star Wars. But it was fun. It was fun, I must say.
Did you ever get to meet like any of the directors on those films?
Yeah, Deborah Chow I met on Obi-Wan. She gave me direction one scene because I mean I was acting, which is wild.
Right.
But I guess I had to walk a little different or some shit. I don't know. I wasn't doing much. I think I had the scene I was in was like a spaceport, so I had luggage. So she was like, "Oh, could you hold it on this side and all this?" And I was like, "Oh, yes, Deborah Chow, I got you." Like, yeah, because she was the sole director of Obi-Wan. Actually, she did all 6 episodes. I really think Obi-Wan should have been a movie, if I'm being real.
I haven't seen all the way through, but
Yeah. I think it could have been condensed.
yeah.
But that's not a fault of Deborah Chow. That's Disney being fucking greedy and hungry for.
You know.
We need Disney Plus subscribers. We got to pay the bills, boys. But really, they don't because they have a buttload of money and they.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me started on that shit.
But I think it's pretty cool, just like being able to see your name on a big screen.
I mean, if they credited me, it'd be cool.
No,
They not credit you for that?
Star Wars, fuck no, dude. They won't credit background actors. Yeah. No, I wasn't credited for that, and I wasn't credited for Spider-Man either because it was COVID testing. Because I was only on Obi-Wan for 2 weeks, and then I was only on Spider-Man for like a week, so I wasn't there long enough to get credit. You got to be like staffed onto the production, and then you'll get in the credits.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but like the bigger movies that I worked on here in Indiana, I was credited for.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah. So like, there's this movie called So Cold the River I worked on. It was January of 2020, like right before the pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
And that came out in 2022, so I went and saw it in LA, and yeah, my name was in the credits for that. So that was cool to be like in Beverly Hills watching a movie and be like, oh, there's me.
That is pretty cool.
That movie's pretty wild though, but I'm more excited for the other one I worked on, with Dylan Sprouse and all them. It's called The Duel. It's like apparently really fucking funny. I've read the script. I was like, it has potential. And apparently it's great, so I'm very excited to see it. Yeah.
Did it surprise you how how often they use Indiana as a location for filming?
More than I thought there would be. I mean, I thought there wasn't going to be any kind of opportunities at all here. But Pegasus Pictures, like, I think they've done, it's either 5 or 6 features they've done here in Indiana. And I know there's 2 unreleased ones. I don't know how much I can talk about these because I don't know if they're announced. I know the Duel, but I know there's one other one. I think, no, it's gone to festivals. It's called Runner. But I didn't work on that. They shot it like a month after I moved to LA. I almost flew back to work on it, but then they were like a really limited budget on that one, so they didn't have money for me. But I totally get it. But then they also produced like one of my shorts because they're based out of Bloomington, and they do like a high school filmmakers contest every year, and they also like run their own little thing called Pegasus Institute where they have classes for filmmaking, and they're really cool guys. I'm a big fan of them. Just the way that I was a PA on their films, and I was able to talk to the guy, Zach Spicer and John Armstrong, Gordon Strain. Like they all like talked to me like I was a person and knew I was creative and didn't talk down to me because I was a PA.
Right.
And like that alone gives me so much respect to them, and also the fact that they like want to make movies in Indiana, because I really think we could. Like there's a lot more here than people realize.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like for the Duel, the Dylan Sprouse one, we shot all over the state, all over. We were in those caves in southern Indiana. We were up at Lake Michigan shooting on the beach. We were in Carmel in these mansions. Like we were all over the place. Fountain Square.
That's cool as fuck, honestly.
So I'm really excited for that one because So Cold the River, it was like really confined to that one like hotel in French Lick.
Uh-huh.
But this one's like all over the state. And what's really fucking funny is it doesn't take place in Indiana.
That's funny as fuck.
I think the Lake Michigan is supposed to be like it's supposed to be in California somewhere. And I'm just like, yeah, you can still shoot it here though. Like,
right. You got sand, you got water.
Mm-hmm.
You get the point across.
My favorite thing though is there's the scenes in Carmel. It's supposed to be like in Mexico. So I'm so excited to see the yellow filter just dropped on there because you know what's happening.
Right.
But we shot it in October, so there's a bunch of leaves on the fucking ground. So guess who had to rake up the leaves, because who the hell has leaves falling in Mexico?
Right.
Like this. So me and like all the art team and the other PAs were just out there for like hours just raking the leaves. We get the one shot. All right, let's go on back inside. Like I come on now. Like I just worked for like 3 hours for that shit. But that's the kind of shit that like you do as a PA. And as soon as you get into the industry, like and work on these sets, you'll realize that like a PA is just a grunt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But there's got to be people like that on set to make it run. Like PAs make the set run. And I feel like being a PA, especially like for features where I was like one of, just a few PAs, I learned so much about filmmaking. So much. Because when you're at the bottom, like you see like the real problems that need to be solved.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're one of the biggest problem solvers on set. Because without good PAs and without a good production team, like the whole shoot is going to be a mess. It's going to be a clusterfuck. And when you learn that kind of stuff working at the bottom, it makes you like even better as a director and a producer, because you realize like that small shit you need to think about.
Right. You take what you learn from being a PA and just kind of put it into your own work.
But it's a lot of fun though. I the hours are horrendous and you risk being burnt out. But I think like starting off in it is really fun. Like I think I don't know if I'll PA again, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm like past that. It's just like I could feel myself getting burnt out of it. And there's a lot of people that'll move to LA, especially, where they'll work in film for like 3 years as a PA. And the way they make it really hard to work up, man. I mean, this is the reason why all these people are going on strikes too, and why IATSE went on strike a couple of years ago. It's like there's not really a way up into it. And I've realized that working into it a little bit. And the only way, if you want to be a director or a writer, like you just have to start shooting stuff yourself. Like there is no one that's going to give you a pass to be like, oh, here's this much money to go make a feature if you don't have anything to show for it yet. Like it's just not going to happen, and it sucks because like that's not necessarily how it used to work in the studio system. Like you could start as a PA and like actually work your way up into wanting to direct. Like I mean that's kind of how Spielberg did stuff.
Right.
But it's not how it works anymore, because the thing is that all this equipment is accessible and people are out there shooting shit. So people want to see examples of your work. It makes sense, unfortunately.
Right.
Like, because there are people out there shooting stuff, and you just need to be one of those people. And then take yourself seriously and fake it till you make it. Because, I mean, I personally, I don't think I'm there yet, necessarily. But I present myself like I am.
Right.
Like, my website looks fucking nice as shit, because that's what people are going to look at. And I put together a nice reel. And, yeah, you have to sell yourself. That's how you got to do it. Otherwise, no magical call is going to happen, unfortunately.
Right. Nobody's just going to come out of the blue and be like, hey, can you make this movie for me?
Yeah. And that's kind of the truth of filmmaking, because one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten, and I think I love that this is one of the best things I've ever heard, and I don't remember who said it. But I think it was at Full Sail somewhere in film school. And it was like, you stop trying to focus on networking vertically, as in like people above you. Like, oh, I want to like, you know, become friends with this producer. I want to do this, and start networking like horizontally with people that are on your exact same skill level, and create that crew, create that team of people that want to just create together. And then you just build each other up throughout the whole thing. I mean, that's like why like I still love working with you on music and putting that in my movies. And like the majority of the people I work with, I've worked with on other projects, and like you just kind of get better together.
Oh yeah. The rising tide will lift all boats, you know.
Exactly. And that's like the best way of making it, I think, in any art form, honestly. So
for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot easier to to progress in any art form, really, if you have people around you that are like-minded, and you know, you end up learning little things from each other inevitably from working with each other over however long it is, you know. But
for sure, it's make friends with people that want to make shit. And I know it's way easier said than done, especially here in Indiana.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's another reason why I moved, you know, because it's like, especially before Full Sail, like I knew Colin, who was the guy that was helping me out, and then there was like a couple of guys I made films with, but like the actual chance of like making money and being taken seriously, like it just wasn't gonna happen, at least from what I could tell in my situation. And that's why I moved. And that's also why I ended up moving to LA too, because it's like I really love working with Pegasus, and I plan on I want to work with them again. But it's also just like expand those horizons and getting onto those like dream sets. It's cool because now it's like, oh yeah, okay, I've not in a creative fashion, but I've worked on Star Wars, and I've worked on like Marvel shit, fulfilled those kind of like childhood dreams, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I can just kind of focus on I don't need to like be part of the hustle anymore of like being on sets and like, oh, I want to work on this person's movie, I want to work on this movie.
Right.
Like, the hustle now for me is working on my own shit, because I feel like it's not going to be super fulfilling, like busting your ass for 16-hour days at a time
for somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I must say, if you're going to be busting 16-hour days, you'd rather be on something that you have control over, and that, you know, something that you really, really feel passionate about.
Yeah. So now I'm like in a pretty good spot where like I have a really good day job that is like, you know, I'm still using the skills that I've been learning my whole life with filmmaking. But it's pretty like simple, and it's from home, and I can get pretty good like time off, and it allows me to like work around my creative projects with it. Like as soon as you find a job that like you're not focused on, as soon as you clock out, like I clock out of this new job, but I'm like, okay, cool, like that's done for the day, and I'm not sitting there stressing about work. So that's when you can start to be like more creative, and
most definitely
you got to pay the bills, unfortunately.
Right.
And that's the whole thing of being a starving artist, and that's what sucks about it, is you keep that money coming in, and your art's not going to do it at first. It won't, and that's the hard truth, unfortunately. And you know how it is.
Oh yeah,
You've been busting your ass on music for years.
Oh yeah, I have never made the money it takes to post my music online.
Yeah.
Back. I've never it costs $25 to put my for a membership for a year to upload my music, and I've never made $25 in a year. I think I've made $62 over the entirety of 6-7 years now.
Yeah. And that also kind of goes into the residuals from streaming and all that kind of shit. That is just the music industry is, I think, way fucking harder than the film industry.
I did the math, so for one listen on Spotify, I make 0.004 cents.
Bro, that's wild. And it's it's so wild that all this happened right as we started making music too.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember when we were freshmen in high school, that first album we made, I was pushing off CDs in high school.
Oh yeah, I was handing out CDs left and right.
I'm like, yo, here you go. And
I
was $5.
And everybody's like, what the fuck is a CD, dog? You ever heard of Spotify or YouTube or anything?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, we probably should have thought about that, huh?
Yeah. And we did put it on there eventually too, but it's just I don't know. There's something about having that physical copy and because you feel like it's you're actually getting paid for the work you've been put into it, and I feel like the music industry is just so messed up with that kind of stuff, and film kind of is now too with streaming, and it's why it's why the writers and the actors are on strike right now. They're not getting shit for residuals.
I feel like that's also why not many interesting movies come out nowadays too, because most of them just go straight to streaming, so they're not getting any of the money from the theaters or DVD release.
There's just an overabundance of movies,
right?
And it's because the companies like Netflix and just all the streamers are looking at it, and Disney too, are just looking at it as content. Obi-Wan wasn't a movie because they could get more money off 6 hours of content than they can, a movie. Which is, I feel like it's still bullshit though, because if that movie was if that was a movie, that would blow up at the box office.
Right, I'm gonna say at the box office, and then you got Blu-ray release after that and DVDs. And
that's why I'm so happy that Barbie and Oppenheimer are doing so well, because they're I mean, I know that one's based on a toy, one's a true story, but it's there's craft in those movies, and there's originality in them.
Most definitely.
People want to see that, so it'll come back. It's a writing wave. The film, I mean, any creative industry is like that. So, but yeah.
Most definitely. All right, we're at 1:30. Y'all about ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh shit, we didn't do the quote of the week. I'll hit it for you as we're leaving.
Yeah.
All right. This quote of the week is from Dan Auerbach, the guitarist from the Black Keys. There's always someone in mind when I'm writing. Hold up. There's always someone in my mind when I'm writing. It all comes from somewhere inside. So when I pulled up this quote, I was thinking it's kind of like when you have an idea for something, you're just kind of like, where the fuck did that even come from?
Mm-hmm.
You just have a little tiny idea inside your brain. I've always found it really fucking interesting how just something will pop into your mind and it literally won't escape your mind until you manifest it into something physical.
That's when you had to make something.
Oh yeah,
when you go to sleep and it's still there, and you're like,
The most recent song that I'm writing is like that. I had this one line, that just randomly popped into my head about the Grinch, and so I was like, what the fuck am I? Where did this actually come from? And then I was sitting at work just just humming the tune that I put it to, and I was like, well, I got to put this down somewhere.
I do like that new song. You showed it to me.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. I'll probably put it out as a single here pretty soon before I drop the whole album. Just kind of like an anticipation for the album next year. But
I feel like the single releases are kind of like how we were talking about Shorts.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
It's just an experimental thing, and then the album is more of the collective kind of piece.
Yeah, that's how yeah. Pretty much exactly how that works. I'm gonna say Electrorabia That song I released a little while ago. It's like an EDM song because I've been into EDM recently, and I was like, I could make one of these and just put it out. But
no, that's what I love so much about your work too. Is like you're constantly exploring different like sounds, and it's always evolving.
Oh yeah, I feel like if I ever like put myself into one box, like I'm a rock and roll guitarist, you know, then people are gonna be like, if I went and made some synth pop music, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? I don't really fuck with him anymore. But if my shit's always all over the board, then, you know, you can't really define what it is.
Exactly.
And it also brings in a wider array of people that listen to it because it's more different, you know?
I feel the exact same thing about the stuff I make, just like jumping from genre to genre, like doing comedy or whatever.
It is very, very important in my mind to be well-rounded, you know, a jack of all trades, but a master of none type shit.
No, I agree, for sure. All right.
In two ways, we appreciate y'all for watching the Two Tone podcast. I want to say thank you one more time to our special guest, Kyle Bastin.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to it.
Oh, no problem, man. If you're ever back in town, we'll have you on again. But put all your stuff in the description below, all your links to your YouTube channel and whatnot. Yeah. And did you gonna say something?
Tinted Love comes out tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Tinted Love comes out tomorrow. Check it out. You can check out Theo, youtube.com/@glasshousefilms8. Hit him up on Instagram if you're interested in being an actor or behind the scenes person for one of his shorts. Also at glasshousefilms8 on Instagram. New EP Unfuckswittable just came out a couple months ago. Still check it out. It's on all streaming platforms. We appreciate y'all so much. If you're not already, I think I've said this, but subscribe. We appreciate y'all. Have a great night. This has been the Two Tone Podcast.